Clinical psychology is an integration of science, theory, and clinical knowledge. How can addiction facilities benefit from having a clinical psychologist as part of their senior management leadership team? I'm your host, Suzanne, and this is Recovery Matters. I'm here with my guest, Dr. Tina Goodin, and today we're having a conversation about how clinical psychologists play a valuable role in administrative leadership. Welcome back, Dr. Goodin.
Hi, Suzanne.
So we were in the middle of some interesting ideas and conversations when we left. Tell us now a bit about, in an administrative leadership role, some of your ideas for change within addiction facilities. Where do you see needs that it could impact almost any facility that fulfilled this role?
Well, one of the things I've noticed is that geographically there are certain areas that are not resourced, and we haven't gone there to find people in those areas. So, for example, one of the things I would do is research the market that I was in and find out geographically and culturally what's missing, and that would give me a clue as to what is needed. I would also set up some studies, and I would take a look and do some surveys in the area to make sure and see what I can glean in terms of needs, unmet needs, and niches that are that we could then fill. And so I would move from there and putting it into action. And so then I would begin to create a plan that would extend the services into those areas. As well, I would use media. I would use radio, television, online services, and personal presentations in various cultural organizations and hospitals, and that way be the face of the facility, so that there's a name, there's a branding of what we have and what we bring to the table. I think that the bottom line needs to be constantly woven into the goals, clinically speaking, so that my business plan would be very tightly woven with the clinical goals. And so I would need to do a whole lot of forecasting, right, so that my P&L works out, and make sure that, and I have models of that because I've done them in the past. I would develop home services for aftercare. Relapse is so high in this field that I think our aftercare has, there's a void there. I just gave a talk on aftercare at a facility a couple of weeks ago, and we see that, you know, there's aftercare companions, and there are aftercare coaches. And we need to develop that inside our program. It's not enough to pay lip service to we're going to work on aftercare on day one. We need to actually make that happen. And so there's another point of revenue for the company, because that's an unmined source. And so there's also going out to companies through their EAP to gain access to their employees who are in need, and it is still hidden, and could be affecting their work. So there's a whole minefield there. Another area is I would go into college campuses. I think there's the beginning of that, but certainly not enough, where we could have satellite facilities. For example, we could do IOP on campus. And so, you know, we take our license, we have another address, we get that going. And then I would also work on following up with our patients afterwards. I think the alumni part is really weak. There are tremendous resources to help us increase our facility census and help our bottom line. They are great advertising for us if we work it well. Most importantly, I would stay with my nose fixed to my financials, because every little detail here is only as good as whether or not it works to help the bottom line, and that's something I'm really good at. I keep it with me at all times.
Wow. So what is your current role now at your facility?
So right now at Artesian, I'm their Chief Clinical Officer. And so it is a facility that focuses on wellness and addiction, both. And so my role is to oversee the leadership and the clinical part. So I'm working with the owner of the facility and the executive director and operations and financials and everyone to marketing, to be sure that we're on track, to stay connected with them, to bring them ideas, to work with their ideas, to keep them happy, to keep us happy, and then weave that together with the clinical, actual patient work with our clinicians, so that we are able to know what our next step is in terms of moving forward and helping us soar in our census. By way of what our unmet needs are, attaching that to the financial part to make sure that we go out there and find it. So I'm also out there giving talks.
So that's already a huge job that encompasses a lot of different roles and a lot of different departments and what have you. And yet today you have aspirations, talents, desires to go beyond in an administrative leadership role.
Yes.
Tell us a bit why that dream's important to you.
So, you know, at this point in my career, it seems important to me to be able to pull this together for facilities, because I don't know that that's been done. And this would be my way of adding value to a facility that really has been working hard and wants to soar and wants to improve not only their clinical side, but they want to improve their bottom line, but they want to improve it with substance. Not because they pay lip service to these things like clinical expertise and excellence in patient care, but because they actually walk the talk and their bottom line soars. So that for me would be a tremendous sense of having given something and bringing something that adds value. And that's what I'm all about, adding value.
Well, it is undoubtedly that you have added value to anywhere you've contributed your services to over the last 27 years. So thank you for all the many patients you've served and the many teams you've been a part of. And it sounds like you have even bigger aspirations of really impacting the way the field views leadership and organization and administrative roles, and kind of combining those all together. So we wish you all the best as you continue to endeavor towards those aspirations, and we look forward to hearing from you once again down the road about a facility you've joined that you've impacted many of these great ideas. So thank you very much for being a part of it. Do you want to give our viewers a way to contact you, or if they'd like to ask you questions or get in touch with you about your services?
Definitely. Well, for more information, please call me at area code 561-301-1464, and I'll be happy to talk with you.
Thank you, Dr. Goodin. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Suzanne.